Will. This is Mike. We're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And today we're bringing you issue 69 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. This magazine came with two paints. We've got Sterling Mud Technical Paint and Storm Shield Varnish. As usual, we'll be playing a battle, which you can skip ahead to if you'd like to, but if you want to see the issue contents, we'll have a look through those first. First up, we have background on the Lord Castellants of the Stormcast Eternals. These are uncompromising warriors who are charged with the defence of the Storm Keeps, the great strongholds of the Stormcast Eternals. They carry lanterns blazing with holy light that they use to drive away the darkness and heal their Stormcast, and they're often accompanied by Griff Hounds. Sometimes lead expeditions out. There's a couple of famous ones there as well. We have more history of the Everspring Swathe. In the Age of Chaos, this was invaded by the forces of Nurgle. The Sylvaneth inhabitants were gradually driven back, and even the Oak of Ages passed. The great tree began to rot. The goddess Alariel was slumbering, but thanks to the efforts of the Hallowed Knights Stormcast Eternals, she was rescued from Nurgle and replanted, where she grew into her war form. Finally, the forces of Sigmar started to drive the forces of Nurgle back and established the three great cities of Greywater fastness, the Living City and the Phoenicium. Then we learn about Teclis, one of the twin elven gods with his brother Tyrion, once a great mage of the world that was, and then reborn as a god. A stalwart defender of order, and also had several attempts at reforging a new elven race using souls taken from the Chaos god Slanesh. With varying success. It mentions the Idoneth Deepkin, who actually tried to destroy after seeing what a failure they were, but they managed to escape. There's a picture of his model there, together with the great spirit Selenar, which he bonded with. Most recently, he has defeated Nagash himself in a sorcerer's duel. Also some mages of the Lumineth Realm Lords there. And then in our painting guide, firstly we're adding some more detail to our Sigmarite ruin pieces that we've had for a while. So things like straps and ropes and metal areas, making the fountain look like it's full of mud, vases, bottles, jars, weathering on the metal sections. And then the second part is using our Storm Shield Varnish. So this can help protect your models from damage caused by handling and during play. It suggests fixing any chips and then applying the varnish, which will then protect it later on. Don't put too much on your brush. Have a wet brush just to help it flow a little bit. Apply it all over the model, ideally in a single sitting. Don't put too much on the model or it won't dry clear and it'll clog up all the detail. But that's not all. Also with this issue we got another fold-out insert talking about the endless spells. These are spells that have been cast, but then thanks to the weird magical properties of the Mortal Realms have never gone away and then become rogue spells that go around causing mayhem. And there are many different ones, and obviously they manifest different characteristics of those kind of laws of magic. And it also mentions some that correspond to the magic of specific factions. Anyway, that's it for the content of this issue, so now we'll get on, learn some new rules, and get into our game.
In this issue we're learning some more rules for different realms. So we have Shyish, the Realm of Death, and we have the Realm Sphere Magic, Realm Command and Realmscape feature. So the Realm Sphere Magic is the spell Pall of Doom, which has a casting value of 6, and if it's successfully cast you can pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster that they can see and subtract 2 from their bravery characteristic until your next hero phase. The Realm Command is Amethyst Aura, which you use in the hero phase, and if you do, you pick a friendly unit within 12 inches of a friendly hero, and until the end of a battle round. Effectively, that unit gets the Deathless Spirits rule, so on a 6 they can ignore wounds or mortal wounds. And the Realmscape feature gives everything the Nullification rule, where any heroes within an inch of any terrain with the Nullification rule can unbind spells as if they were a wizard, but if they're already a wizard they can unbind an extra spell. And then there's a little tutorial for each one just there. Basically it's everything I just said. And then we have some more tactics on charge screening, so just using one unit to shield another. So you can see these chain rasps are stopping the Dracolines from charging the Tomb Banshee directly. And on the other page there is aggressive defense, leaving a weaker unit open to tempt your opponent in, but having more powerful units within range to pile in. So you can see these Blade Guys charge the Lord Ordinator, but then the Liberators and the Lord Arcanum are brought into the engagement as well. And a little short story to get us into today's mission. Stormcast have sent some scouts to the Realm of Death, having heard word and having portents of the Mortag of Grief, Lady Olinda, is sending one of her greatest generals to Batar, Kodos Valentian, the Craven King. And we also have another strategic overview of the goings on in the Realm of Fire. At the top you have the scouts being sent through the Realm Gate to the Realm of Death. And down the bottom it mentions orcs and chaos forces fighting against the Nighthaunt. And now we can get on to today's battle plan, Return Unto Death. We can see the board set up. It's just a single board today, using the old Realm of Metal board to represent the Realm of Death. So we'll be playing on Shyish, so we're using all those new rules we learnt. We're using the printed side, so it's just all the printed terrain today. And there's a single objective on the Fallen Head in the middle, Stormcast territory on the left, Nighthaunt territory on the right. And then the Stormcast begins deploying first, then we alternate. And the armies we'll be picking, we have 3 choices, each from the heroes and troops list from the previous page. And for our objectives, if they control the objective, the Stormcast player scores a number of victory points equal to the current battle round, whereas the Nighthaunt player scores 2 victory points every Stormcast town's units they slay. And this game will last for 5 battle rounds. So I'll go into the army overviews and come back after we finish deploying. So we'll go over the Stormcast army for this game first.
So looking at my 3 hero choices at the front, we've got the Lord Relictor, the Lord Exorcist, and a Knight Incantor. The Lord Exorcist will be my general. He's going to have the Strategic Genius command trait, giving me an extra command point at the start of the game and my artifacted power is going to be the Relic Blade, and that will go to the Lord Relictor to give him an extra damage on his weapon. And for my 3 unit choices, we've got 3 Retributors, 5 Liberators, and 5 Judicators.
And here I have the Nighthaunt force I picked. My 3 hero choices, well, I've actually got a Shroud Guard battalion, so that's another Shrouds and 2 units of Blade Guard's Revenants, because that worked out pretty well in the previous game. A Spirit Torment and the Guardian of Souls, and then another unit of Spirit Hosts. The Knight of Shrouds will be my general. I will give him Master of the Black Arts, because having an extra wizard is always handy. And he will also have the Tomb Blade artifact. And I'm also going to give the Guardian of Souls the Cloak of Mists and Shadows, to help keep him safe, because I get the extra artifact of power from having a War Skull battalion. So I can just about show the entire battlefield in one shot. We have the Stormcast over on the left and the Nighthaunt on the right. We have all the Time-worn ruins and the fallen Sigmar statue on their places on the printed board. We also roll off to give the statue a terrain trait so it's inspiring. Both sides are going to tussle over that objective. You can just about make out on top of it. And all of the Time-worn ruin terrain is also deadly as well, so if you end your move next to it, you might take damage. I'll have a look at the Stormcast deployment first.
Because the way the terrain falls has just set everybody up in a single block, because there's only really one path to the objective. We've got the Liberators on the left as you see it, the Retributors on the right in the front line, the 3 heroes kind of in the middle, and then the 5 Judicators out the back.
And for my Nighthaunt deployment, nearest the camera, we've got the Spirit Hosts with the Spirit Torment behind them. Then I deployed the Shroud Guard battalion, or as a single choice, so the Knight of Shrouds, and then the 2 units of Blade Guard's Revenant, and then the Guardian of Souls is just tucked in behind on the far left there. And before we roll off for the first battle round, we're both starting with a command point. I've got one from my War Scroll battalion, and the Stormcast have one from the command trait. And then we're rolling off to see if we can pick the first turn.
Try again. No, it wasn't. It was a 6.
So the Stormcast win the roll-off.
And I'm going to make the Nighthaunt go first, because I'm far too far out of range to do anything in my first turn.
So we'll head into Nighthaunt turn 1. In my hero phase, I go up to 2 command points. And then the Guardian of Souls will try and cast Mystic Shield, needing a 6. He gets it with a 7.
I'll try and unbind with someone, it doesn't matter, they're all both in range. I'll do it with an 8.
Here you can see the results of my movement. Everyone's moved up. The Spirit Hosts did run just to get a little bit of extra movement. Basically, we're just going to try and stay away from all the terrain. And that little red dice there marks 18 inches away from the Knight Incantor, so we're not going to take any unnecessary mortal wounds from her spell. And this unit of Blade Geist in front is going to be in range of the objective to take control of it. But other than that, I've got no shooting and no charging, so we'll be on to Stormcast turn 1.
So in my hero phase, I gain a command point, also going up to 2. Then the Knight Incantor will attempt to do Spirit Storm, needing a 7, getting a 6, so that fails. And the Lord Exorcist will try and cast Mystic Shield, needing a 6, gets it with an 8.
Yeah, I'll try and unbind that. Doesn't really matter who I try and unbind it with. Only got a 4, so that is successfully cast.
And I'll put that on the Retributors. And I'll also spend a command point with, it doesn't matter which hero with, to use Amethyst Aura, the Realm of Death command ability, to give the Retributors a 6+ to ignore wounds as well. And then in the movement phase, everybody's moved up. Most of my units ran, apart from the Judicators, moving up in this slightly strange, squished up formation to try and maintain an inch distance from the deadly terrain. 4 of the Liberators are in range of the objective, so I will take it at the end of the turn. Then we'll be on to the shooting phase, where the Judicators are going to shoot at the Spirit Hosts. So a single shot from the Shockbolt bow to start with, which hits, and therefore does d6 hits in total, 3. Then the other hits, the prime hits on a 2, the others on 3s. Hit 3 times between them, so that's 6 hits in total, including the Shockbolt bow. Wounding on 3s, 4 wounds.
4 plus saves. I only made 1. Ignoring damage on 6s. Don't ignore any, that's a dead Spirit Host.
Yay!
Take away that one at the back.
That will be the end of my turn, because nothing else I can do.
The Stormcast do take control of the objective, and because it's the first battle round, they will gain a victory point. So rolling off for initiative at the start of battle round 2. And I won the roll off, and I think I will go first. So we'll head into Nighthaunt turn 2. In my hero phase, gain a command point, go up to 3, and then going to start off spellcasting with the Guardian of Souls, who's going to try and cast Spectral Lore, needing a 6, getting it with a 7.
Try and unbind that with the Lord Exorcist, I suppose. Oh, with a 12, yes.
That's like, no, not bringing any Spirit Host back yet. Then the Knight of Shrouds will try and cast Mystic Shield, not getting it with a 4. So for my movement, I'll show this side of the fallen head first. Do note that the fallen head is not deadly, it's just all the little ruins around it. So the Spirit Hosts have moved up. One of the Blade Geist Revenant units has moved up, so they're just 3 inches away from those Liberators. Over at the top end, we've got the Knight of Shrouds moving over, with the other unit of Blade Geist following behind him. Then the Guardian of Souls and the Spirit Torment are hanging out in the middle behind the fallen head to provide their aura coverage and also so they don't get shot at so much. And then we'll be on to the charge phase. I'll start with the Blade Geist Remnant unit near the Knight of Shrouds because they have to go the furthest. Needing a 5, getting a 6, that's enough. So they're going to finish their charge like that, so that they don't finish near... It's only when you enter a middle move or a charge move that the deadly terrain can hurt you. Piling in, you're fine. So they have to do a little bit of a weird squish charge. But then the other unit of Blade Geist is going to charge as well, needing anything but a 2. That is a 2, so I'm going to have to re-roll it into an 8. So they're going to finish their charge like that. Again, it's a very squish charge. There's going to be all my charges though. The Spirit Host aren't going to charge just yet. So we'll be on to the combat phase where I will spend a command point to put Lord of Geists on this unit of Blade Geists down here. And then the Guardian of Souls will use his free move from Cloak of Mist and Shadows to get on top of the Fallen Sigmar head to look very cinematic. And also to make him harder to actually fight. In the fight phase I'm going to pick this unit of Blade Geists to go first. So the Blade Geists pile in. I've just got to... This guy can only go this far, otherwise he'd bring the Lord Exorcist in. I don't want that at all, so only 4 of them can actually get in. So they have 16 attacks, 2 each, then +1 for each from Lord of Geists and +1 each for charging. So these hit on 3s, rerolling everything because a Spirit Torment is nearby. 10 so far, rerolling the misses. That brings me up to 15 hits. And these wound on 2s thanks to the Guardian of Souls. Well, that's quite a few ones though, so it's only 10 wounds.
And we have 5+ saves, rerolling 1s because of shields. 2, and 1 to reroll. Into a success, so 7 wounds in total. So we've lost the 3 who are this side. This one over here takes a wound to allow the Retributors to get in. And I'll pick the Retributors to fight next, so they can pile into the other Blade Geists that haven't fought yet. And they've piled in like this. They can all hit one of the Blade Geists from that other unit. They are getting within range of the terrain, which might be dangerous next turn, but pile-in moves don't trigger it. 7 attacks, hitting on 3s. 6s cause 2 mortal wounds instead of the normal damage. Oh, 2 6s, but 4 misses. 4 mortal wounds plus a normal hit, which wounds on a 3. It does.
I'll save the normal hit on a 4. I don't, so 6 damage. Ignoring it on 5s. I only ignored 1, so that unit is destroyed.
Whey!
So all of those Blade Geists are killed.
So then we've just got the Liberators to fight, so this one can pile into there. And then they have 5 attacks hitting on 4s. 3 hits, 3s, 2.
2 4+ saves, made both. That's it for all the fighting, so at the start of the Battleshock test, which Battleshock round, I will bring back the dead Spirit Host, because I killed 3 Stormcast this turn. And then the Liberators have to make a Battleshock test.
5 or 6, 1 or more of them will run away, but they do get to reroll this because of the Order trait. And on a 2 they're fine.
I will also take control of the objective, so the Stormcast can't get any points for it this turn, but we'll be on to Stormcast turn 2.
So in my hero phase we gain another command point. We've got plenty to do with all my heroes. We'll start with the Lord Exorcist with his Purifying Blast spell. So it goes off on a 5, gets an 11.
Well, I might as well try and unbind that. Do with the Guardian of Souls. Well, who's near a nullifying terrain piece, but that doesn't matter, it doesn't give him any bonuses. On a 12. Oh, a 12.
Do the Knight in Cantor next with Spirit Storm, needing a 7, getting a 9.
Well, I'll try and bind it, do with the Guardian of Souls again, because he can do another nullification. 7 is not enough. This is going to hit all of my units, so the Blade Geists ignore damage on a 5. Nope. Knight of Shrouds on a 6. Nope. The Guardian of Souls, no. Spirit Torment, no. Spirit Hosts, no. I'll lose this Blade Geist here, and then everything else takes a mortal wound.
And then the Lord Relictor is going to attempt to do Lightning Storm. It's off on a 3+. It does. I'll put this on the Guardian of Souls, so he'll take D3 mortal wounds. He takes 1.
He ignores it on a 6. No.
And I'm also going to spend a command point to put Amethyst Aura on the Retributors again. And then in my movement phase, I'm not actually going to do a great deal because it's not really that far for most of my units to go without just exposing themselves to the Nighthaunt. So I'm going to stay everything in melee. Does mean my 2 units of Liberators and Retributors will have to make tests for the deadly terrain, though. It seems to be the case in the rules that a normal move includes remaining stationary. So on a 1, they'll suffer D3 mortal wounds. The Liberators roll a 5. The Retributors roll a 1, of course they do. So they take D3 mortal wounds and lose a whole model. Oh, but I do get to ignore those on 6s, possibly because of Amethyst Aura. Nope. We'll lose this one. Then we'll be on to the shooting phase, and the Retributors are going to shoot at the Blade Geists because I seem to want to try and get rid of them. So Shockbolt Bow hits on a 3. It does. D6 hits, which is 6.
Yeah.
Other members, Prime hits on a 2, others on 3s. Oh, wait, 4 hits out of that. So 10 hits, wounding on 3s. 7.
7 4+ saves. Made 3. Ignoring these on 5s. Made 1, so there's 1 Blade Geist left. So I will move these 3, leave that 1 poor Blade Geist engaged with both of those units so the Retributors can't go charging off.
But he is within 6 of the Lord Exorcist, so he might be killed by the Redemptor Casket. On a 4+, he does take a mortal wound.
Oh, but he ignores it on a 5. He does.
So that will bring us to the charge phase. The Lord Relictor will declare a charge. See what he rolls. A 3. I don't think that's going to get him anywhere, actually. I think I will re-roll that with a chuck command point, so I don't have any left. He rolls a 2, that's even worse. Well, there's not going to be any more charges because the other 2 heroes are stuck because of the Lord Relictor failing that.
Well, the Lord Relictor's just pleased to be here. I never gets picked.
So we're on to the combat phase where I'll pick a unit first, and obviously that's going to be the Retributors.
Yeah, I'm not going to use Lord of Geist on a 1 Blade Geist, and the Guardian of Size isn't going to move anywhere.
So with a little piling in, they can both get in range while remaining more than 3 inches from the Knight of Shrouds. 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6s do mortal wounds. We've only got 2 hits, wounding on 3s. Double 1.
Well, the Blade Geist will put his attacks on the Liberators. So we've got 2 attacks, re-rolling, hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything. Just 1 hit. Wounds on a 2, he hits, -1.
5+ save, re-rolling 1s. Oh, I made it. Oh, can the Liberators do the job they've piled in? 5 attacks hitting on 4s. Well, they can hit twice as well. Wounding on 3s. No, they can't wound him either.
Well, that's the end of the turn and the battle round. No battle rock test needed to be made. I still hold the objective in the middle. So we're rolling off for initiative at battle round 3. Oh. I win again, so I'm going to go first.
You're up 5 and 1 again.
Yeah, on to Nighthaunt turn 3. So I'll go up to 2 command points, and then I'm going to start the spell casting with the Knight of Shrouds. He's going to try and cast Arcane Bolt, hitting a... well, not, it doesn't get it with a 3. Then the Guardian of Souls is going to try and cast Spectral Lure, needing a 6, getting it with an 8.
We'll just use the Void Control to automatically unbind, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that Blade Geist where he is. And then the Spirit Hosts have moved up, just to get 3 inches away from the Liberators. And the Spirit Torment moved a little bit closer to them as well, and the Knight of Shrouds doesn't need to go anywhere, because if he moves any closer to the Retributors, he'll be in engagement range. So we'll be on to the charge phase. I'll start with the Knight of Shrouds. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, an 11, he's definitely in. I'll also charge the Spirit Hosts now, at 11 as well. So the Knight of Shrouds will go into the Retributors, and the Spirit Hosts will go into the Liberators. And then I will charge the Spirit Torment. Spirit Torment's charge is an 11 as well. So the Spirit Torment just about fits into that gap between the terrain and the Retributors. And then we'll be on to the combat phase. Well, at the start of the combat phase, I'll spend a command point to put Lord of Geist on the Knight of Shrouds himself, and then I'll pick him to fight first. So he's got 5 attacks with his sword, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Spirit Torment. Well, it's a good thing we can reroll 1s because he's only got 1 hit so far. There we go, that's 3 hits. And these wound on 2s and 6s to wound, allow him to heal a unit. Well, there's 2 wounds, and -1 rend.
So 5+ save, failed both. So 4 damage, but I can ignore these on 6s because of the Amethyst Aura. No 6s, so 4 damage.
Then there's 3 attacks from the horse, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Gets a single hit, wounds on a 4, you're wounded.
4+ save, failed, 6 to ignore. Oh, I did. So I'll kill the normal Retributor, and the Prime will be down to 2 wounds. I'll do the Retributor Prime. He's going to pile in this way, and he will attack the Spirit Torment. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, 6 to do 2 mortal wounds instead. Okay, well, so we've got 2 mortal wounds and a normal hit, and a miss. Normal hit does wound on a 6.
4+ to ignore the... No, it's 3 again, so it's, failed my save, so 4 damage, ignoring on 6s. I ignored 1. That's important because he's alive. And that leaves the Spirit Torment on 1. But then I'm going to pick the Spirit Host to go. So the Spirit Host will go next, and they'll pile in so that all of them can get into the Liberators. They have 18 attacks, hitting on 5s, rerolling 1s, and 6s do mortal wounds. Well, there's 4 6s in there, so they're all those Liberators are dead.
Yeah, only 3 wounds left between them, so that's it.
And then I've got a Blade Geist and a Spirit Torment to go. I'll do the Blade Geist first. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling everything. Reroll that 2. Wounds on the 2. It does.
5 plus. No. Ignoring on a 6. No. Down to 1 wound.
Then the Spirit Torment has 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. They all hit. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds. I think it's -2 Ren for him.
6s. Oh, 1 6.
D3 damage. 1.
Ignoring on a 6.
Oh, he lives!
Yay!
That is the end. That's the end of combat. No Batroc test to be made for the Prime. Well, I did kill 3 Stormcast this turn, so I will bring back 3 of those Blade Guys. That is a little bit cramped, but I can bring back all 3 of them. One guy sitting on top of the thing. You're probably a bit confused as to how you got up there. I also get 2 victory points for killing the Liberators. So with that, be on to Stormcast turn 3.
So in my hero phase, we will go up to 1 command point again, and then we'll do some of our spells. We'll do Purifying Blast first. Needing to roll a 5. Oh, an 11 again.
Try and unbind. No, not this time. So that's every Nighthaunt unit within 6. I think that's going to be everything except the Guardian of Souls.
So I roll a d6 for every unit and add half their bravery because they're a death unit, and I'm looking for less than 10. So because they're all bravery 10, adding 5, basically you need a 4 or less to do something. So we'll start with the Spirit Hosts. They do take mortal wounds on a 2. So d3. They take 1.
Ignoring on a 6. Nope.
Blade Geists do take mortal wounds. 1 again.
Ignoring on a 5. Nope.
The Spirit Torment. Yeah, that's also a 4, so d3 mortal wounds. 1 for him.
Ignoring on a 6. No, he's dead.
And the Night Shrouds. He also takes mortal wounds. He takes 1 as well.
How can he get 4 1s in a row? Ignoring on a 6. He ignores 1. So the Spirit Torment dies. Well, the Spirit Torment dies. I'll take away this Blade Geist, and the Spirit Wounded Spirit Host goes down to 1. Nightingale
next for Spirit Storm, needing a 7. No, only a 4. Then we'll do a Lightning Storm again with the Lord Relictor. Goes off on a 3 plus. It does not. And I'll spend my command point to put Amethyst Aura on the Lord Exorcist, giving him a 6 plus to ignore wounds. And in the movement phase, the Retributor Prime is going to attempt to retreat, but he has to run in order to do so, because otherwise he can't get far enough away. So we'll show it on camera because it will matter. So he needs a decent roll. A 4 might be enough. That is enough to get him to here, which is more than 3 inches away from any enemy units.
But he has finished a move next to the deadly terrain, so I'll roll for it now.
So on a 1, he will die. Oh, he's alright. And then the Judicators have just moved back slightly, so they're a bit harder to bring into melee by accident, or by piling in moves. And then in the shooting phase, they're going to shoot at the Spirit Hosts. Shotbolt bow on 3. It missed.
Oh.
Other bows on 2s or 3s. We've got 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, 3 wounds.
3 4 plus saves. Made 1. Ignoring damage on 6s. Nope. So that 1 Spirit Host on 1 wound will die, and then the other one. So I think this was the wounded one, and then this one goes down to 2.
And then all the Nighthaunt bar the Guardian of Souls are within range of the Redemptor casket, so we need to roll for all of them. The Spirit Hosts on a 4 plus. Oh, that's cocked. Nope. The Blade Geist Revenants. Nope. And the Guardian and the Knight of Shrouds. That brings us to the charge phase, where we'll do the Nightingale first. She rolls a 9. She will go over there, although she does get within an inch of that terrain, I believe. So on a 1, she takes mortal wounds. Oh, 2. And then both my other characters will charge, so I'll just roll both of them at once. Lord Exorcist gets a 7. Lord Relictor gets a 5. And they both go into the Night Shrouds. They're more than 3 inches away from the Nightingale, who at the start of the combat phase will blow up all 3 of her Spirit Flasks.
Yeah, and it's not going to change this resolution, but I'm going to put Lord of Geist on the Night Shrouds. So it's going to be 3 mortal wounds on the Blade Geist, ignoring on 5s. Now they ignored 1, so there's 1 left. And then the Spirit Hosts ignoring on 6s. Ignored 1, so there's 1 left there as well. So this Spirit Host dies. I'll take away these 2. And then the Nightingale has gone down to 2 wounds as well.
And then I get to pick first, so we're going to pick the Nightingale because she's down to 2 wounds. She'll just pile in a smidge and attack the Spirit Host. She has 3 attacks hitting on 3s. 2 hits, wounding on 3s. That's 1 wound.
4 plus save. Failed.
D3 damage. Oh, 3.
Oh, ignoring on 6s.
No.
I ignored 2. Going to pick the Knight of Shrouds to go, and he's going to attack the Lord Exorcist 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, getting 4. Wounding on 2s. They all wound.
4 plus saves. He failed 2, so that's what, 4 damage?
Yeah.
I'm not to ignore these now on 6s. No, he does take 4 wounds. He's down to 1.
And 3 attacks from the horse on 4s, getting 2. Wounding on 4s, getting 1. Come on, horse.
3 plus save. Oh, he rolled a 1.
Ignoring on a 6.
No, that's unfortunate. It also means I can't kill the Blade Geists because he was in range of them, so the Lord Relictor is just going to have to try and smash the Knight of Shrouds in.
But one thing first, I think possibly for the first time ever in this series, the Knight of Shrouds killed a hero, which means he gets a wound back from his sword.
Lord Relictor has 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3 hits, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds.
3, 4 plus saves. Well, I made 1 at least.
But it's 2 damage each because of the Relic Sword.
4 damage, ignoring on 6s. Ignored another one, so it's only 3 wounds to the Knight of Shrouds. And finally my 2 remaining units get to go, so I'll do the Spirit Host first. 6 attacks, hitting on 5s, and 6s do mortal wounds. Well, there's 1 mortal wound and that's it. So now the Blade Geist is going to have to try and finish her off. 2 attacks on 3s, getting 1 hit. Wounding on 2s, it does wound.
4 plus save. Oh, I made a save.
That is it for the end of battle round 3. I'm up to 4 victory points now because I've killed 2 Stormcast units. I still hold the objective, rolling off for battle round 4.
Oh, I actually won.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go first.
So we'll head into Stormcast turn 4.
So in the hero phase I gain a command point. We will try first of all to do Healing Storm on the Knight in Cantor. Goes off on a 3. And what it does, she gains D3 mortal wounds back. 2. She's back to 3 wounds. And then she will try and cast Spirit Storm. 7. No. And we also use Amethyst Aura on the Lord Relictor just to help him ignore some wounds. And then in the movement phase, the Retributor Prime ran to try and get himself within range of the objective. Unfortunately, he didn't roll quite high enough, but I want to keep him out of combat because he's a bit of a liability now, being on 1 wound. And the Adjudicators have moved up because we're going to have to take the objective at some point. Then we're on to the shooting phase. The Adjudicators are going to shoot at the Spirit Host. Top bow, hits, back to form. D6 hits, just 2. Everybody else gets 3 hits amongst them. So 5 total hits, wounding on 3s, 4.
4 plus saves, made 2. Ignoring on 6s, no, it's dead.
Then we'll be on to the charge phase, where the Adjudicators are going to declare a charge. They roll a 6. They finish their charge like that. That should bring all of the models within range of the objective, most importantly. So that brings us to the fight phase, where the Lord Relictor will go first. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, getting all of them hit this time. Wounding on 3s, 3 wounds.
3, 4 plus saves, made 2.
Won't die.
Ignoring damage on 6s, no, down to 1 wound. I'm going to pick that Blade Geist to go, and he's going to attack the Knight in Cantor. 2 attacks on 3s, 1 again. Wounds on a 2. Oh, it doesn't wound.
I think I'll actually pick the Adjudicators next because a couple of them might be able to take out the Knight of Shrouds if I'm lucky. Actually only get 1 in range of the Knight of Shrouds, but it's worth a go. And for the remainder, these 3 have to attack the Blade Geist. The one at the back can't reach anybody. And the important attack hits on a 3. It does. I think it wounds on a 3 as well. No, it doesn't. And then 3 attacks on the Blade Geist on 3s. Just a 1. Wounds on possibly 3 or 4. Not a 1.
Well, now the Knight of Shrouds gets to go, and he's going to put all of his attacks on the Adjudicators. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Getting 1. Wounds on a 2. He wounded at least, -1.
5 plus. Oh, I made it.
2 attacks on the horse on 4s, getting a hit. Wounds on a 4. Does.
4 plus. Oh, it takes a wound.
Yeah.
And then the Knight in Cantor will just pile in slightly, and obviously all their attacks going on the Blade Geist. 3 attacks on 3s, getting all hits, wounding on 3s, 2.
4 plus. Nope.
2d3 damage, only 3. Can it live?
3 5 pluses.
Oh.
Finally goes down, and finally the Blade Geist is killed. And that is it. And no Battleshock tests, and Stormcast will gain control of the objective and get 4 victory points. And I think I'm going to call it there. I've only got 2 models left, and I'm probably not going to be able to retake the objective with just my 2 heroes. So, for the first time in quite a while, it's a Stormcast victory, and we'll recap that game for you now. So that was the game for issue 69 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, hey, I won a game for the first time in about 8 or 9 attempts. But boy, didn't we make hard work of it. My Retributor's first charge was quite spectacular, but then subsequent to that, everybody got out their rubber weapons, and the Lord Exorcist's spell only doing 1 mortal wound to 4 different units when it can do D3, and failing a number of spells at key points. Obviously, the Lord Exorcist just dying to a single round of attacks. So we tried very hard not to win, just to snatch victory from the to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory there. But
just due to the way the terrain ended up, it's quite hard for you to actually get models on the objective, and I was able to just pile onto it. It took you so long to fight through them all that. Yeah, so I think my strategy did end up working, and I think if I'd made more of the ignore damage, especially on the blade guys, I think I would have been able to hold you up long enough to win. If I'd killed a whole load of Judicators, I think I still would have been in the game at the end. Basically, if I could get to 6 victory points while you were still on 1, I could have held out for a draw. Although that depends on turn rolls, because, I mean, as it's written, possibly not as intended, the Stormcast get points at the end of every turn, not just theirs. And also any Stormcast units that are killed not by the Nighthaunt, I don't get any victory points for. So you could just take loads of Spirit Flasks and have a big explosion, and then that denies me a load of possible victory points.
Yes.
It's a very risky strategy. Or if any units get killed by the spooky terrain, I don't know if you don't get anything for them.
I don't think it actually came up. I think all the points I did get were in my turn anyway, so it probably wouldn't have mattered that much. Well, I only got 5, but it's probably a good thing for me that your objective was to kill me and not take the objective, because obviously you were much more able to just swarm all over it and keep it. It would have been impossible for me to win pretty much otherwise. I was really hampered by the terrain in my deployment side, because unless I wanted to take mortal wounds, which I should point out I did roll a 1 at a crucial time and lost a whole Retributor for it, so that's another thing that tried to keep me from victory.
And you got a couple of 2s as well. That was close.
I was just bottlenecked into a small area, which did mean you couldn't get all of your blade guys to attack me at once, I suppose, but it just meant I couldn't spread out enough and actually deploy my units. I also put the Amethyst Aura on the wrong unit in my first turn, because it was the Liberators who took all the hits. I doubt it would have made a great deal of difference in the scheme of things, because you did a ton of mortal wounds to them later anyway, but still. The 6 to ignore is useful for me, a bit. I did make a crucial one in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the same reason as mine. It's going to keep you an extra model or 2 alive. And the Pall of Death spell.
It'd be good if you had Dreadscythe Harridans and you used it on a unit and then charged them.
Yeah, I was tempted to take them, but the Spirit Hosts have more wounds.
Yeah, because they get
-1 to hit against. The units within 3 inches with the low enough bravery have -1 to hit. And it would be useful, possibly with that command trait that makes extra units run away. Probably more useful against armies that are really big swarms that have low leadership, like Skaven or...
Yeah, the nullification didn't come into effect because we effectively had 2 wizards each anyway, so we matched each other. If you hadn't taken Master of the Black Arts, you could have used that trait to gain an extra unbind. I suppose especially if you're a faction that doesn't have wizards, you could actually gain unbinding abilities through that, which you might not have, or might have to take specific things for normally, so it might be handy.
But otherwise, I don't think there's too much more to say about this game or this issue. So as always, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe. And leave any comments. If you play these games, tell us how you've been getting on. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.